Now, you want to talk about some craziness. When the pastor and his wife arrived to church yesterday morning to get set up, to get started, what they found was unbelievable, and I'm sure very scary for them. But let's start the night before. 9:30 p.m. Saturday night, officers in Lexington, North Carolina are called to the scene. They're called to a residence, and they find three shooting victims. As I'm told now, this is a day and a half, 2 days later. Two of them are in critical condition, and they've all three survived so far, from what I understand. So this starts at 9:30 at night. They're looking for a suspect. They find the suspect vehicle. There were some witnesses. There was some camera video from a jewelry store across the street. And they find the suspect vehicle. They chase it, the suspect in this shooting. They chase the vehicle, and they end up losing the suspect. This suspect makes his way to this church Saturday night, and he breaks into the church. And it's the Community Fellowship Church in Lexington, North Carolina. He breaks into the church. He sleeps there the rest of the night. This is, I think, about 2:30 when the car chase occurs. So he gets in there. He sleeps there the rest of the night. And he is there to greet the pastor and his wife when they come into the church on Sunday morning. Now, what happens next? Unbelievable. He then takes them hostage, kidnaps them at knife point, and begins to lead them around, takes them out to their car and steals their car and takes them with him. So he's kidnapping them. He's taken off, and he only makes it about 5 miles before he lets them out. But just imagine how scary that is, to just be walking into church for another Sunday morning, and all of a sudden you're being held by a guy at knife point, being threatened by somebody at knife point. Terrible. How scary that would be for both of them. And then kidnapped and held hostage and taken in their vehicle. Their own car is carjacked. All kinds of things going on. And so the suspect finally gets away for a short time again, lets them go, and they go back to the church, from what I understand, and report this incident. And I'm still not clear on the details to that. But, man, what a mess. And this is the suspect here, 39-year-old Zachary Plowman. Now, they find Plowman later on, and he is taken into custody. But what I really want to walk through in this, first of all, how scary this would be, and could be any of us showing up to church. Member of the worship team or the congregation starts to show up, and all of a sudden he pops out from wherever he's sleeping within the church. And so I just want to make sure and use this, as I always do, as a learning opportunity. Whatever you do in the church, or whether you're just an attendee to church, we got to be paying attention. Apparently he broke into the church is the wording, and I haven't been able to find in my research how he broke into the church. But, what can we do to prevent this? If you're a security team member, a church leader, or a church attendee, what can we do to prevent this kind of stuff? And I say, first of all, like at my church, security team arrives right away in the morning. Now, the pastor usually will beat us to the church, but we're there shortly after, and then we're there for the worship team and for their practice and all of those things. So we get there as early as possible, and I recommend that for you. I think that whoever is the first person to arrive on Sunday morning, that there's a security team member with them. And I would suggest that it's an armed security team member, but some of you don't have the armed. So a security team member and the person that's arriving to unlock the church or begin their day's work for Sunday or Saturday, whatever day you meet. But we need a couple people there. And churches are more and more of a target. And we've seen this a couple times as well, where people are fleeing police on a Saturday night and they end up in a church. And then they're a problem later that night or the next day. So another thing that we could do is check your cameras. If you don't have some sort of an alert system where your cameras, when they go off, you get an alert, or in some cases, we get alerts all night because of traffic driving by or whatever that is. But check your cameras and see if you see anything. And the last thing that I would recommend is that you drive around or walk around your church before you go in. On a Sunday morning when you arrive, or Saturday morning, whenever your main meetings are, that you're walking around the perimeter of the church, or you're driving around, and preferably a security team member with a member of the staff or leadership, whoever's arriving, that you're walking around together, or somebody's doing that preliminary walk, because you may be quiet neighborhood, maybe you never have any issues, but you don't know about what happened the night before and who could be in that church hiding from police or preparing to engage you in some kind of behavior, a negative behavior, violent behavior, whatever that looks like. So I just want to encourage you, this stuff's not likely to happen, but there are so many more things going on these days that we've got to be prepared for this stuff. And I want to continue to reinforce the idea of, we need that security. We need to be alert. We need to be paying attention. We need cameras. We need to be doing whatever we can to begin to make ourselves a more difficult target to attack as a church. We don't want to be that soft target anymore. So thanks for watching. I hope you'll subscribe. Take a look at the links in the description for training and other things that we've got going on to help support you and your mission. And take a look at this next video. It'd be great, I believe, for you to watch in your journey within church security.